Hi everyone, good morning. I'm Antra and thank you for joining to our yet another Sunday live discussion session where we invite authors to have a heart to heart conversation regarding their literary journey and their books. I'm sure you would agree if I say that in our life, sometimes in our life, we reach a crossroad where we look for unbiased and non judgmental opinions or suggestions or even advices at times. And you would agree even more if I say that many of the advices that we receive come from the most unexpected places. And I'm saying all this in reference to our guest for today, who is Hemant Joshi. He is the author of the book, The Advisory Board. The Advisory Board is a work of fiction, and in spite of being a work of fiction, the crux of the story lies in the place or in the source from where the main character Shekhar receives all the life learning lessons. Shekhar had, just to give a brief about the story, Shekhar has recently lost his wife. His business is not doing that well, and by some twist of fate, he comes across certain certain people or a point in his time when he receives certain tips or advices even which makes his life take entire 180-degree turn. This source of advice is not uncommon. It might be an unconventional choice to base a story, but the source is very common, and we come across this source very often, and it's none other than our commercial cab drivers, taxi drivers, cabbies. Yes, you heard it right. And these are the taxi drivers who are giving us advices, and I'm sure each one of us had our stints with such drivers, and I'm sure the story has so much more to it, and I can't wait to have a discussion, to have a chat with Hemant. I'm going to send Hemant a request to join me now, so just hold on for a moment. Hemant Joshi, the author of the novel The Advisory Board. I hope he's disconnected. Hey, hi, Hemant. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you for joining me today, Hemant. Finally, we are doing this session.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but yes,
Right.
excited to be
Yes,
here
yes.
with you.
Thank you so much. So, if I'm not wrong, you are based at Pune currently,
Yes. I'm in Pune at the
and
moment. That's correct.
you work as a product manager. I hope I got it correct. Okay,
Yeah,
all
that's
right.
correct. That's correct.
So tell me, Hemant, when was that point in your life when you finally realized that I want to be a published author?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't occur overnight. It was not like I had a eureka moment one night and decided that, hey, I want to publish a book. Uh, the way it started was like during my engineering about 6, 7 years ago, I had a good story in my mind, which I felt it was good, of course. The idea was to write that story. So I went ahead and wrote that in like 10, 12 pages. And then I was just like Googling around, reading up, hey, what is the best way to publish a story? Should I just publish it online, whatnot? But then I got thinking, okay, why not write it as a book? Let's see what happens. Let's try it out at least to see even if I could write a book in the first place. So that's when the journey started, if I may say. It's been a slow, steadily progressing journey. But around I think mid 2014 is when I sort of got a sense that hey, I want to start writing like regularly. In that, I want to publish books. I want to create new stories as much as I can. So that's how it started. My first book, called Digital Nervous Breakdown, was
Right.
published back in January of 2017. That book
Okay.
took about 2.5 years for me to go from start to the end. To the end, as into the date of publishing. A book is a never-ending journey, but
Right, right, right.
that's that's when it got published. So yeah, that's how my writing journey started, and then after that, it's all been about curiosity, just being curious about the people around you, finding out who is an interesting character, and just digging deeper into their stories. So that's what has kept me alive as a writer, if I may say.
So I'm so intrigued now since you mentioned that you have done engineering. So I come across so many people who are engineer, who have studied engineering, and they say that we are like bogged down with our work, with our curriculum. So what went correct in your life that you got the chance, you got the time to write, or even
Yeah.
think to conceptualize a story?
Yeah, I'll be shameless in admitting that I was never the best person in my class. Uh, but having said that, I think uh, finding time to write isn't very hard. It's about like just dedicating half an hour to an hour every day,
Right,
and then it grows on you. Like you do that for 3 or 4 months consistently, and then it'll grow on you such that you won't actually want to get away from writing.
right,
At least in my case, that's what happened. So like early on during engineering, of course, like we had studies and whatnot, and I was also occupied in a lot of extracurriculars. But having said that, there was still like some time that I could devote to it, uh, and it was the primary motivation just curiosity. I
right.
thought that I had an interesting hook in the story, saying, I mean, the question that I was exploring at that point was, what if this entire world is a big database in that every person, every living being is stored in a database, and what if this database gets hacked? So
A part of the
that was the
big
question I
data.
was exploring. Yes,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like everyone is
yes,
now talking about the big data, and I'm like, it's something to explore. Yes. Uh,
yes, yeah, yeah,
it,
yeah.
and I'm sure, like as you mentioned, that if it's all about your passion, something that you like to do. So if you like to do something, then of course you will manage to figure out when to do that. Also, I think writing is a very good way to unwind. I don't write, but then I think reading is a similar kind of
Yes.
Alex did. Like I unwind reading, so I totally get it. Um, Hemant, the story is not. Uh, I might have said something which is not appropriate, but I so truly understand the story is not only about taxi drivers or cabbies giving advice to the main character, but I'm sure there has been like a moment or a part or maybe even a scene in the story which might be influenced from your real life. Would you like to share that with us?
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah. So if I have to talk about inspirations from real life, I would just say like the entire book in some form or shape has been shaped by real life people that I've met. Essentially, what I do is here's the characteristic of this one person that I like. Here's another characteristic of another person which I like or don't like. You mix and match those two, and that's when a new character is born with an entirely new, unique character sketch, if I may say. So having said that, I mean, one memorable character from the book, who I personally have met and was actually like a part of. I mean, just it was good to hear the story while I was driving in the cab or riding in the cab with them. Was this like taxi driver who is a movie buff? So they used to watch a lot of movies, and on YouTube, I actually found this video of a like a movie reviewer who in the day usually drives an auto rickshaw, but at night, sorry, not at night, but every Friday they will be in front of this theater called GT Galaxy in Mumbai, and they will be there every Friday for the first day, first show. And I was like, yeah, this is interesting. This is what I need in terms of a character. And the idea was, how can I inculcate something like this in my hero's life? So that's when I incorporated that character and said that, hey, I mean, the question that I was exploring at that point from this other character's point of view was, why are they even watching films every Friday? What is it in films that calls them to the theater every Friday? And then, I mean, the answer that I found was it was more of a getaway sort of a thing. Like those 3 hours that you spend in the theater,
Right, right,
leaving all your worries aside, is essentially why
right,
you go to the theater every Friday. You want to get away from boring life, get away from all the problems that you face.
right.
So yes, and it's a distinct memory in my head that hey, like watching this guy on YouTube do his thing every Friday was a revealing thing. So yeah,
That's great. And I'm so glad that you and the character Shekhar had such positive experiences with taxi drivers, because using cabs for almost 12 years had never had a single positive. Maybe I could count maybe 3 or 4 good experiences. Otherwise, it has always been this negative. Also, I think that maybe I might be wrong, that it has to do something with the rider even. Maybe
sure.
the rider, if the rider is proving, then you get more out of it. Um,
Yeah.
so I was very intrigued. I was like, "ये कैसे हो सकता है? How is it even possible? Like, how do you start? Even how do you start a conversation?" But then
Yeah.
I think what um I might be wrong, so you can correct me if I'm going
Sure.
wrong
Sure.
somewhere.
Sure.
I think what the centerpiece or the crux of the story is that you find the best of the advices from very unexpected places, and there's
Yep.
sometimes in your life you require a different perspective, a different maybe
Yes.
very unbiased, non-judgmental perspective, where you want to talk, discuss with someone. And I think that commute allows you time, because the person, like, it's too much, I might have thought, because you are not face to face, we're not sitting face to face, and the person
Yep.
is it's not inhabiting. So I think that is a very good situation, and I think it's a very brilliant topic to explore for a content, for a story. I also had so many things when I was reading that I was thinking that maybe this could be converted into a video blog, where
Yep.
people or you or someone else can go and talk to drivers, but then because of this certain situation changes now. So maybe we can explore that later. But but something that I really am interested, moving out of your story, moving out of the advisory board, I'm really interested to know more about those stick sketches, the stick diagrams that you make every week. I look forward to your short stories every week. And then I look for the stick character drawings that would come, and like along with that, and it always puts a smile on my face. And I'm sure there are so many other friends of mine who look forward to those stories. I really like how you send out the story every week, and then you put a timer that this will require this many minutes. So I want to know more about what made you think of this, like to start writing a newsletter kind of a thing based on different stories, different subjects.
Sure. Yeah, this was about a year ago, essentially, when I was thinking of what is a good way to publish short stories, in that they are not too involving for the reader, but they are sort of again, a getaway from your busy daily life. I find email is one of those, corporate devils these days. Everyone that I know of has hundreds or thousands of emails that they have
but
unread in their
but that is the
inboxes.
only thing that can be accessed. Like
Yes.
other websites might be blocked, but emails are always accessible. So I think that's a very smart move.
Yeah.
Yes, please
So
continue.
yeah, yeah. So the idea was, I mean, everyone's busy with a lot of email, a lot of non-fiction, a lot of information that you're digesting from 100 different sources. My idea was why not use email for a little bit of fun? In that, even if it's just 5 minutes of fun, while you're browsing through your email, hey, here's a short story that pops up in your inbox. Read through it. That's about it. Your mind gets away for a few minutes from the busyness of your life, while at the same time, hey, you're enjoying a good story.
Right.
So that was the idea with which I started. I mean, that was the primary motivation. There is also a secondary motivation as an author, which is to use this as an experimentation ground for what I want to write next. So essentially, like I'm trying out a bunch of different types of short stories, which I hope, like if people like them, I just pick whatever people are liking, and then just grow them into like short story series or maybe even into a book in the future. So that's like the secondary motivation that I have. It's
That's
just
a very
testing a
good
lot of
idea.
material with the audiences. Yeah, yeah,
Actually, I was supposed to say this, like if you would had not mentioned that, are you planning to publish any of these short stories? So I think I really look forward to the short stories or your next publication. I'll come to this question later on, but I
sure.
think I really want to know if you would like to read anything for us now, or you want to do it later.
Sure. I can read. What I'll do is I'll just read the first page of the book,
Okay.
so that it gets the
So
story in
that we
motion.
can
And
go and so that we you build up the and then we go and buy the book.
sure. So yeah, here's the book for all the viewers. I'll read the first page,
Yes,
the
please.
prologue. Uh, so here it goes. A loud thud disturbed the four-story building of Siddhivinayak Cooperative Housing Society Limited. Lights on all four floors of the pale yellow building came on. Footsteps could be heard speeding down the stairs. The elevator's shutter-like door could be heard opening and closing. Within a minute, about 10 people had gathered by the watchman's makeshift cabin besides the entrance gate. The only protection this poor fellow had from the might of the monsoon. Rains this year had been stronger than usual, but the several layers of tarpaulin on the roof were enough to keep the watchman safe inside. It was a quiet night compared to the previous nights, as the usually pounding rain had today subsided to a paltry drizzle. The watchman was not in his cabin tonight. Standing outside the building's entrance gate, he was involved in an altercation, charged up with his wooden stick. The scene people saw in front of their eyes kicked sleep away from their minds. It was going to be a long night. A bulky man standing in front of the crowd dialed a number on his phone as he walked towards the watchman. But he disconnected the phone when he saw that the person he was calling was behind him. Pushing people aside, Shekhar Tripathi charged ahead. His small eyes had gone wide, looking at what had happened. He stormed towards the watchman. The watchman was holding the culprit's white collar, but the culprit would escape if he was able to even land one solid punch on the watchman's face. This is the one, Sahab, the watchman uttered, looking into Shekhar's eyes. The one worthy possession in Shekhar's life stood shattered. His beloved habanero red Honda Civic 2010 was smashed. It was knocked on its left side by a massive Toyota Fortuner standing beside it. The impact had been above the rear wheel, pushing the car's trunk sideways into the building's boundary wall. The brutal impact had left the car's roof angled inwards and the strong chassis built or bent from the middle. That's it. I'll leave it to the readers from here onwards.
And this book is available on Amazon, and there is this great India festival, whatever is going on Amazon and Flipkart. So yes, grab your copies, and I hope, oh Hemant Joshi, please make this book available to our online
Yes.
bookstore as well, so
Soon,
that
soon.
we can go ahead, yeah, and say that it's also available with us. But for the time being, go over Amazon, Flipkart, and get your copy. I want to
Sure.
take a moment and say thank you and hello to all our friends, your friends, and my friends who are watching us right now. So, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions or any comments for Hemant or for me, don't forget to leave that. I'll read it out. And next, over to Hemant. What does Hemant Joshi do to relax and unwind?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I unfortunately don't have a very sophisticated answer for it. I mean, I sleep a lot. That's what I do
Which
to
is good.
unwind.
Yes. Sleep is very
Yeah,
good.
so I do sleep a lot. But apart from that, I mean, usually on and off, it's just reading something relaxing. Could be like a good novel. I usually read late at night, just before sleeping. So that's a good way to unwind from the day.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
yeah, yeah. So that's about it. No fancy answer there.
And what are you reading right now, or what's your favorite genre? What do you prefer reading?
Sure. So right now, or I mean, just 2 days ago, I finished this book called 1984.
Oh, yes.
Um, okay.
Even I have read
You
it just now.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was a great book. I mean, it was recommended to me by one of my friends. I had never read a dystopian book before. I mean, 1984 is a harsh-hitting dystopian book.
Right, right.
Probably
And it's so
like the best,
fascinating,
one of the
I
best
must,
in ages.
right. Like written in 49 about 84 and rereading in
Yes,
2020, and it's like
yes,
so many years, almost 70 years, 80 years of difference, but then you can so much relate to it. So I think
yes,
that's a way, that's the quality of a great book or a good story, I think. So yes,
yes,
even like high five, both of us have read 1984, and yes, dystopian has has become our favorite, mine too. I think I read this Testament by Margaret Atwood,
yes.
so I was blown away by that. So yes, I look forward to more dystopian stories. um,
Nice.
what are you planning to do next? Like, are you, apart from this short story collection, is there anything else that you are writing or you are thinking of doing, getting out there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, hold on.
Yes,
Can you
I
hear
was
me?
I was thinking about the same thing, that what can we do when we receive calls?
Can't help it.
Yes, there is no way to turn it off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Something
So yeah,
for you to
uh,
work on, maybe.
maybe, hopefully, I can find a solution to it.
So
But
much.
yeah, uh, coming back to what I'm planning on doing next, I think right now the main thing is my short story newsletter. Want to build it into like a good short story publication eventually. I want to set it up as a platform for multiple writers. Usually, as a
Yes,
new
yes,
writer,
yes,
it's
right,
extremely hard to find readers and have that platform. So that's something
right,
which I want to seriously do over the next year or so. And apart from that, been testing in like a few new formats for writing, for publishing. One is like a short film. So I'm right now putting together a short film. Uh, I don't know how to produce or how to even make a film, but I'll figure that out later. First is to find a good story and put it down. So that's what has been keeping me busy. If that turns out well, I might even like go ahead and write movies in the future. But yeah, that's the current state of mind.
Brilliant, awesome. Like I would really, I'm so intrigued to know the kind of maybe stories that would be visualized or put together by you, and will be able to watch it maybe on Netflix very soon. So I really
Yes.
wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
before we before we wrap up, uh, is there any advice or any tips for aspiring writers, authors who are planning to publish their book?
Yeah, I mean, for aspiring writers, I think patience is it's a cliched thing, but patience is one of the things which you need a lot of patience. Writing is a slow process. As much as I would love to change that and say that, hey, if we could publish books in 3 months and get them to sell on the first day itself, it's not going to happen. It takes decades for some of the people to create the best work. I still consider myself as an amateur, not a good. I mean, I have to explore
different formats still. So that's what.
this like, for a long time. And to be patient, like one of the
So
things is uh, don't get enamored by like the uh, short term things that social media forces you to see. Like it's not about those 1,000 likes or those 10,000 likes on social media, but more or less a long term game. Think about 100 years down the line, are people going to read your book versus in 10 minutes, are
right.
people going to?
Right. And it's a very long journey. I understand as a reader, for an author, I think it's not only putting a story on a piece of paper, but also then finding the right match as a publisher who will understand and get it out there, and then a distributor, and then there are a whole lot of chain of people involved to get the book out there to the reader. So I totally understand that, and I really respect that. And there is one of our viewers is asking you, did you anytime get demotivated while writing your book?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, there's been a lot of times when I get demotivated or I don't want to write. But it's essentially like the curiosity keeps things alive. You usually get demotivated by external factors that, hey, this publisher rejected my book. This publisher didn't even read my book for that matter. I heard no response from this another publisher. But having said that, it's more or less about like just continuing to do what you like. Like one crystal or one very good example is right before publishing the advisory board, about a month and a half before publishing, I was like, okay, is this even worth it? And I was like, okay, let's not publish the book at all. Maybe I'll just upload it on my blog for someone to read if they want to, but not as a book. But yeah, I mean, I slept for 2 days and I was like, okay, let's go ahead and do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have come to the end, but before we leave, when can we expect next book? Okay, Suhas Bhatt.
Hey, Suhas, good to see you here. When can we expect my next book? I haven't planned anything. As I said, my short story newsletter is my thing right now. And that will be my next book, I think. So every Saturday is when I will say, every Saturday you'll get one chapter of my next book. So please read and leave your comments around,
We
hey, if this was good, if this was not good.
I was counting the short stories that we have received so far, and I think we already have like more than half of the book with us. So yes, we have saved our money. No, I really look forward, and I know that there will be so many twists and turns, and you will make the stories much
Yes.
more even better. And I really want to take this opportunity to let my friends know who are into blogging that Hemant is looking for contributors to his blog. So if anyone is there who is interested to send out articles or anything, just write to him. I will share the mail ID. After the session, I'll post on the story all the details, so you can just go over that and do it. And thank you so much, Hemant, for doing this with me today. And I really hope that you have a pleasant Sunday. And I really hope I receive advisory board so that I can list them on our online bookstore very soon.
Yes,
But
yes, yes.
then that's something to look forward to. Thank you so much, and thanks everyone. Anything before we part away you want to share?
Oh, yeah, a big thanks to you
Okay.
for conducting this, organizing this. I am like a big supporter of what you're doing. I think
Thank you so
like these
much.
platforms
Required for especially
like a well-known. Your books are, I mean, not that not that they are not great, but it's just that you don't have many people to talk to. So what you're doing definitely does help, and it has helped me personally a lot. So thank you for doing what you do.
I think what one objective of My Secret Bookshelf is to make good content reach readers who are looking for something to read, something out of the box. So yes, I think your absolutely fits the bill. And thank you so much. I'm receiving a call now. So there is. Oh, okay, you have to wait. Okay, thank you so much, Hemant, and I hope that we do this again sometime soon when you are ready with your second book, short stories collection.
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
And
here.
I was thanking you, and I was thanking you, and thank you so much. And I hope that we do it sometime soon again. Thanks,
Yes, yes.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you,
Take care.
everyone. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions on Instagram or
Sure.
anywhere else.
Sure. I'll share all the details on the story so you can just go through that.
Thanks, Antara.